Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Somebody sent me this video, asked me to take a look at it. It's by the channel Montagraph. His video is about the upcoming Christian rally, July 16th, 2016, in Washington, D.C. He's noticing the significance of the numbers in this date, and he's trying to understand what it's all about. He's asking, is there a significance to numerology? Are people really operating by the numbers? I'm going to play just a clip of his video, and then I'm going to fill him in on what he needs to know. There's many people in this world like Montagraph trying to figure out what's going on. They see the pieces of the puzzle before their eyes, but they don't know how to put it together. And, I wish people like Montagraph would have already found my channel because they'd be a lot further ahead in this world. So this video is a gift for him and everyone like him. Let's listen to him for just a moment. And then I'll tell him and everyone else who doesn't know what they need to know about this nation, numerology, and history by the numbers. Here we go.
All about. Now, I didn't really believe in all the numerology nonsense in the past because something about it just didn't click right. But something over the last.
I just want to pause right there. He uses the language of the people who control him. He says numerology nonsense because the people of this world, they are taught, reinforced, programmed to dismiss truth. Plus the way we're brought up in this nation, the way we're educated, which is really just socialized, we are purposefully made to hate learning and to be bad at the things that are taught to us because they're taught to us in ways that have no meaning to our lives, no substance, confusing techniques, baseless techniques, and we're rushed through learning all this useless knowledge, never mastering any skills. So many people in this nation are very bad with numbers. They're scared of numbers, and because they have no skills with numbers, they're taking advantage of every single day. This is a consumer society. We are raised to be consumers. When you're bad with numbers, you are easily taken advantage of by merchants, by people who sell you stuff overpriced, bad deals, horrible interest rates. Look at all the people in this nation that are enslaved to debt because they can't manage their finances, because they can't do basic math. It's overwhelming. This is the nation we live in, a nation of people who are dumbed down with purposeful socialization of education, with chemicals, with all sorts of needless distractions. So there's a reason. And sorry, Monograph, I'm not attacking you. I'm saying the way things are in this nation. Be careful the words you use.
Years, it's starting to make me wonder. It's starting to make me wonder. Am I saying there's anything to it? I believe in some cases it is. Do I believe?
Notice the word that comes out of his mouth. He's not sure, but then he says, I believe. Believe, a word that's been taught to us, a word that has lie in the middle. Believe is a bad word. Use the word think. Learn to think. Stop believing. You live in a world where you can't believe, you can't trust. This world is full of liars, deceivers, people who want nothing but to take advantage of you, mislead you. When you're a believer, you subject yourself to these tactics.
It is in this case, I'm not sure because I don't know. You see, I don't know all the ideology. I don't know all the ins and outs when it comes to religious sectors, the book, the first, the First Testament, the second, all that stuff, the New Testament, the Old Testament. I don't know all that.
And most people don't know. Even the people who are Christians in this nation, they don't know because they've never read the Bible. There's all sorts of people just like my sister, devout believers who've never even cracked the book, never even read a paragraph of Genesis. If you read the Bible, if you look what's within, you will gain a much greater understanding of what's going on in this nation you live in. This nation is a recreation of the biblical story.
Know about that. I don't know anything about that. And why is it important? Well, it could be important. Because look, if you got a person calling out an event before it happens, if that event happens, man, and I'm praying it don't. I'm praying it don't. Because I'm going to agree absolutely with J.S. Bluefin. They want a war, buddy. They want a war. That's what this is all about. They want a war. nations as to give them the excuse on why all of these individual nations' financial structures have failed. And why is that? Central banks, that's why.
So I'm going to pause right there. You know, he doesn't have all the pieces, but he sees what's going on in this world. Deception for the purpose of war. It all goes back to central banking. These wars keep these central banks afloat. And who has run the central banks from the beginning? The same people who set up this nation, the Zionist Jews. Back then, they weren't called Zionists, they were just Jews, but there are different sects of Judaism. The sect of Judaism that has no respect for the rest of humanity, that runs the central banks, that makes war by the numbers. This is the gang that has always owned and operated this nation, and they have always operated by the laws of numerology and numbers. There's a reason that September 11th happened on 9/11, 911 National Emergency Dialing Code. In case you're new here, in 1968, 911 made the National Emergency Dialing Code. World Trade Center construction began. George W. Bush, the president at the time of 9/11, graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones, the Masonic Order. George W. Bush's birthday 68 days before 9/11. None of this is coincidence. This is how our entire history is by the numbers. So, I'm going to give him the information he's not seeing about this July 16th, 2016 date. The numerology connection he recognizes is this, 7, 16, 16. And he knows how in numerology, 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. So the date July 16th, 2016 is a 777 date. Earlier in this video, he brings up the 7/7/2005 London bombings. 2005 in numerology, 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is 777. He's saying, are we going to see another terror attack, false flag, hoax, whatever you want to call it, on this 777 date? So I don't know that that is the case, but what I want him to see, and people like him, is why these numbers are so significant to the gang. And we can figure out a lot just by looking at Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. This rally for July 16th in D.C. was announced on April 7th. This is when everyone started reporting that this rally would happen. There's a reason it came out on April 7th. The Freemasons in high places, they run the show in this nation. Government, religion, media. They do it all by the numbers, even little stories. Every day your news stories are all contrived numbers. It's just an ongoing propaganda mechanism planned out long in advance. That date, April 7th, can be written 4/7 or 7/4. The word Christian equals 47, very special number to this nation. Think about the birthday, July 4th, can be written 7/4 or 4/7. Words such as obey, judge, gavel, authority, all gematria 47. You know, a gavel that the judge uses that you're supposed to obey. Our entire language is based on this system of gematria. It's why they teach us the alphabetic order as kids, but don't teach us about the number sequence behind the letters. You know, they have these elementary school teachers who don't know much themselves, just going out regurgitating what they're told to teach. And from the beginning, our entire education has been a mockery of us, not telling us about the things that actually matter, speeding us through lessons that have no relevance on our lives. Imagine if you learned gematria in kindergarten when you were learning the alphabetic order. You'd see through so much in this world. The reflection of 47 is 74. Earlier, a couple years ago, I said, watch for Muhammad Ali to die at age 74. Muhammad Ali, dead at age 74, dead on June 3rd, 6/3. The Prophet Muhammad lived to age 63. Muhammad Ali's death also came 63 days before the Summer Games. Muhammad Ali equals 96. He opened up the Summer Olympics in 96. The small way, Muhammad Ali equals 42 like Rio. Special numbers. 42 in the Bible. 42-line Bibles were the names of the original Bibles printed. The word Freemason equals 42. New Testament equals 42. The New Testament begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. You can't trust these spiritual texts. They've been tampered with, they've been edited, they are controlled by the Freemasons. Everything in this world is owned and operated by this gang by the numbers. Science, spirituality, history, sports, all of it by these same numbers again and again. Look at all these words in relation to Christianity. Cross, 74. Jesus, 74. I'll make a point. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74 in gematria. It's Oregon, the 33rd state. Think about Jesus on the cross at age 33. Arsenic, the 33rd element on the periodic table. Arsenic equals 33. Its atomic weight is 74. These pairings of 33 and 74, they're in spirituality, science, more. Muhammad Ali just passed on the 33rd parallel in Phoenix. But cross, Jesus, Yeshua, the Greek spelling, Joshua is the English translation of Jesus, gospel, the 4 books of the New Testament, Messiah, Masonic, Jewish, occult, all of these numbers go together. And the natural relationship between 4 and 7 is the number 7 is the 4th prime number. These numbers and their prime pairings are super important. 4 and 7 have a natural relationship. In numerology, 4 represents foundation, 7 represents complete. You put it together, complete foundation. And think about, these words in terms of complete foundation. Think about what Christianity and these religions have done to the world. Most of our laws based on these spiritual texts. So you look at this article, the man's name is Nick Hall. He's making the announcement for this big gathering for July 16th. How old is Nick Hall? Nick Hall's 33 years old, of course. And what stands out to me about this article from April 7th is, look here. Nick Hall is hoping to repeat what Promise Keepers, the word keepers equals 33, did almost 2 decades ago. Bring a massive crowd to the National Mall. Photo courtesy of Pulse. Remember, we just had the Pulse nightclub shooting on Pride Day. Definitely a divisive political story. Brings up all sorts of divisive elements. Religion, Christianity versus Islam with the ISIS blaming. Then you have the whole homosexuality angle. The majority of the people in this nation are Christian, and they are continually provoked with news media that is made to provoke them. Everything is strung together, scripted long in advance. So we'll see if we get a continuation of this ongoing propaganda July 16th as Montagraph thinks might occur. So here's the announcement for the date, July 16th, 2016. Coming from Hall, the 33-year-old. What's Hall equal in gematria? 33, of course. The numbers of Masonic obsession. They're gathering on the 16th day in the year 2016. Remember, 16 and 90 are the only numbers when you write out that sum to 33 in gematria. We saw the Queen turn 90 on the day Prince died at age 57. 33-year difference. If you haven't seen my work on Prince and all that, please check it out. Got videos on all these topics. Muhammad Ali, everything. Go through my video library, lots of information. So the date July 16th, 2016. He saw the 777 connection with the date. Again, 7, July is the 7th month. 16 in numerology breaks down to 7. 1 plus 6 is 7. If you leave off the 20 part, just write 7, 16, 16. Both the 16s break down to 7. 777. The date July 16th is most commonly written 16/7. 167 is the 39th prime number. Very special number to the Jews who go by the 39 books in the Old Testament. Very important number to the history of this nation. The date July 16th, 2016 is also a date with 39 numerology. Not only is 167 the 39th prime number, it's a date with 39 numerology. The Old Testament is a book of laws. The Bill of Rights, the laws for us as a people, were first proposed by Madison, James Madison. The name Madison in gematria equals 39. MSG, Madison Square Garden in New York equals 39. New York equals 39. New York established on a date with 39 numerology. Very important number in a lot of ways to this nation. When James Madison proposed the Bill of Rights, he made 39 proposals. 39. He did it on the date June 8th, 1789, a date with 39 numerology. And again, Madison in gematria equals 39. Very special numbers to the Zionist Jews, the Jewish faith. The United Nations in New York is 39 floors tall. These numbers are the hallmarks of the gang. So, Revelation, the book of prophecy from the end of the Bible, is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. Revelation equals 49, so does Washington. Revelation is where the city of Philadelphia takes its name from, the nation's original capital. The capitals of this nation have been Philadelphia, New York, Washington. New York, established on a date with numerology connecting to Revelation. Think about it. All this Revelation coding. If you read the book Revelation and Montagraph, if you want to know more, read. Go read Revelation tonight and see how much 7 and 4 is in Revelation. And pay attention to the verse numbers. Learn this language of gematria, numerology. Apply it. You will see that what's written in these books is what's going on in this world day after day. Revelation is the book of prophecy. The madmen are fulfilling a man-made prophecy by the numbers that they've planned out decades in advance. Here's the coordinates of Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. on the 38th parallel, just a hair off the 39th, and the 77th meridian, which is known as the American meridian. It's been Jews since the beginning that have created this nation. The greatest influence is to the Jews who created Freemasonry. These people are responsible for a lot in this world. George Washington was a 33rd degree Freemason. Look at the gematria of Jew and Judaism. 38, 77, just like the coordinates. They call this the American meridian. American meridian equals the exact same thing as Washington, D.C. I'll just show you this real quick. Anybody can use this gematria calculator, Riding the Beast, gematria calculator. Look at this, American meridian. That's what they call the 77th meridian. Washington, D.C., authority, all 137. In Pythagorean gematria, federal equals 33. Washington, D.C., the headquarters of the federal government. Let me show you the relationship between 137 and 33. The Number Empire, great website for number research. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Our entire nation, it's set up this way, the names, the dates. There's so much more than what I'm telling you. But if you can understand what I'm saying, just take the time to watch more of my videos. Also, the book will be out soon. It will be out this summer. It starts from the beginning of the nation, brings you all the way to the present, showing how our entire history has been scripted by the numbers, every single event, every page of the history books, all the characters you know. This is what's been going on. The Masonic Jewish cartel running the show, running it their way, creating their history. What do they say about history? They say it's written by the victors. Show you something about history and Freemason. Freemason 42. History 42, George Washington, born on the 42nd day of the year. Washington State's the 42nd state named after him. Again, 42-line Bibles, New Testament. Look at this. New Testament. Starts with 42 generations leading up to Jesus. And so many people are so obsessed with this information and think it's real and think it's the truth. Learn to think outside of the book. Learn to think. Stop believing. Stop saying you believe. Think. How can you know that anything in this world that's written in a book is true? The Bible came out thousands of years before English even existed. A lot of you think King James's version is the most real version. Think. Kings, they want to rule over people. They don't want to give people information, the truth, enlighten them. They want to rule over you. Montagraph, he seems like an all right guy to me, but honestly, I have to look at things like this and go, how does a guy like this have more subscribers to me? He doesn't know much about this world. He seems lost on most issues, doesn't have that much knowledge, but he sees enough to realize that we live in a shit show, you know? Honestly, Truth Seeker, what my problem is in this world is I'm too smart for the masses. And I don't say that out of arrogance. I say it because I know it's the truth. I've seen it since I was 7 years old myself. You know, I used to be in school around a bunch of kids who weren't that capable, didn't have that much knowledge, weren't that good at anything, you know, struggled with the schoolwork, struggled with the games outside, weren't that coordinated. I've just always felt like I live in the dodo bird show. I don't know how else to put it, you know? And I recognize my whole life how dumber people cling together, you know? Dumber people are intimidated by intelligence. They don't want to have intelligent conversations. They don't really want to know anything. They just want to laugh at bad jokes, watch shitty TV programming, you know, waste their lives, be slaves. The world has to change, Truth Seeker. People have to step their game up. People have to stop believing, start thinking, you know, be more careful of their words. Numerology nonsense. No, Montagraph. It's not nonsense. It's what's been used since the beginning of time to rule over you. Until next time, Truth Seeker.